That's a better photograph than the one that's in the brochure. That's a terrible one. Don't even look at that. Burn it. So 8 years ago, I was 8 years ago I was working on an oil rig platform in the middle of the sea, north of Japan, and they called me a mud logger. Now, that was my job description. I was a mud logger, and I don't think many of you would know what that is. But trust me, it's exactly as bad as it sounds. So I'm not going to get into details of that. Let's just flash forward 8 years later, and I find myself on a different platform. I now stand before you as a musician, a singer, a songwriter who has taken some, well, I would say significant strides in both the independent music scene as well as the commercial side of things. Some of us love it, some of us hate it. It's called Bollywood. But my journey and my continuing journey has been through both of these things, both the independent music scene and the commercial side, weaving in and out of both, and sometimes merging the two together the best that I can. And it's a road that I think not too many people have taken, and it is a road that I hope a lot more Indian singer-songwriters will take in the future, because it's very important. It's a path of being able to maintain your individual musician identity while also being able to do commercial Bollywood work. So yeah, I would like to talk about both things, about the independent scene, about the Bollywood scene in equal measures. And I would like you to sit back and just think about both things. Let me start with the Bollywood side and about how I got into Bollywood. It was in late 2007, sometime when I quit my job. I'd been through 3 full-time jobs till then, till late 2007, and I was in Muscat in Oman at that time. So I quit my job and I came back to Bombay, and I thought I would just dive headlong into the music scene, but I was completely mistaken. I didn't have a plan at all. I didn't know what I was going to do. The only thing I had was a little demo CD that I made. And I had about 3 or 4 original songs on it. I had about 2 cover songs that I made. And I started giving it out to musicians at whatever event I could meet musicians at. Anybody, I would say, hey, this is me, check it out. And so yeah, and I made that all myself. I recorded the songs, I printed the CDs, I made the artwork. I printed about 50 CDs, gave it out to everyone, and nothing happened. But what really kickstarted my career was actually meeting this one music director who does music for ads. His name is Rupert Fernandez. I guess his work would speak for itself. You've probably heard the You and I jingle, the Vodafone ad. You and I in this beautiful... So that's the guy. He's the one who composed it. And with him, I sang the Airtel jingle, which went pretty big in 2008, which was the Dil Titli Sa jingle. And some of you are nodding. You probably have heard that one. And that jingle was seen by this particular gentleman called Amit Trivedi. You guys know Amit Trivedi? Yeah. So Amit was listening to that, and he calls me up and he says, so there's this song that I'm composing. It's for a film called Aisha. It's called Sham. Would you like to, come and try it out? I think it will go well with your voice. And I said, okay. Now, see, up until that point, I was never keen on singing for Bollywood. Not too many people know that, but I never wanted to sing for Bollywood. I was never keen on it. But I'd heard that Amit's style of music was very experimental, that he likes to keep things interesting. So I said, what the hell, I'll just go to the studio and check it out. And that was my first experience of Bollywood playback. So I get to the studio, I realize that, okay, now what do we do? I've never heard the song before. The sound engineer plays the song, and you listen to it, and Amit's got his vocal track on, so I know what the song is like. And then I'm given the lyrics. And most of them are in Urdu, so you can hear that I'm not very good with my Hindi anyway. But so I get behind the mic and I have to sing that song. Now here's what usually happens with a film song. Most of you might think that they're done in one take. That whole thing is done in 5 minutes or 10 minutes. It's never like that. The singer normally sings a song like 15 or 20 times, sometimes more. And what the music director does is he'll take one line from one take, then he'll take maybe half of the next line from some other take, and half of that line from another take, and they'll put it together like a Frankenstein monster, and that becomes a song. So, but to our credit, we didn't do that. We just pretty much used, the first take, because he was looking for that little hesitation. He was looking for the casualness, the rawness in the voice. So you guys want to hear the song? Yeah. Oh, here we go.
खामोशी सुनाती है जिसे तूने चाहा होगा तेरा मुझे खिलेगा दिल का ये कबाब
Nervous somewhere in the middle of that song, so I stopped. Yeah, so that was my first song for film, and in the months that followed, there were a lot more music directors who called me up. There were Vishal Shekhar, there was Preetham. So there were those big songs. There was songs from Anjaana, Anjaani. There was Bina from Crook, and all of that happened in the space of a few months. And so the Bollywood side really started, taking over. It was like it was going to start defining me as a musician, and I had a choice at that point of time. I could have gone full Bollywood, and I could have gotten on stage, and I could have just played Bollywood songs and become that playback singer. But I didn't do that. So now I'm going to talk to you about my independent music and the stuff that's closest to my heart. So, as I said, it was in 2007 I quit my job and I came back. And I'd been writing songs since I was 15 or 16 years old. And early on the songs, they were very simplistic. It was a good vocal melody, but it was also, I tried keeping the chords interesting, keep the instrumentation interesting and everything. My first musical epiphany was when I listened to Sting. I must have been 15, 16 or 17 years old. And that was big for me. It just blew my mind. But I think my second musical epiphany was what really defined the kind of musician that I became, which was when I was 25 and I heard the works of Jeff Buckley. I don't know if many of you know Jeff Buckley. I heard the Grace album, and for me that was an eye opener. It was like you're listening to this beautiful voice, a beautiful vocal melody, and yet underneath there's this absolutely complex and intricate instrumental work. But it comes together and it still is an instantly accessible song, which is very rare to do. So that kind of got me thinking. I got inspired. I wanted to get back into writing songs. So I started writing some songs. And I thought to myself, every time I was writing a song, what would Jeff Buckley do, And then I would write it. And I came back to Bombay in 2007. I must have had about 4 or 5 songs. And then I tried to get a band together. Now, doing that in Bombay it's crazy. It's difficult. No one would want to play with you unless you have some credibility, unless you're an established performer. But I kept plugging away at it. I kept playing in random bands. I would do anything, no matter what. I would play guitar in setups that I didn't like. I'll just do anything. But it's taken me a few years, and now I'm at a point where I can just, I can call up a good musician and say, do you want to do this gig? And they'll say, yeah, for sure, we'll play with you. And so that's been a great thing for me. It was also in 2008 that I participated in this music reality show. It was called SUTASI, and it was in Singapore. And that's where I met my present manager, Colleen Zulian, who's from Australia. That was kind of the turning point for me in my independent music, because Colleen was of the view I needed to take my songs and get them to an international audience. But I also needed really good songs. And to get those really good songs, she believed that I needed to bounce these ideas off other people. I needed to write with people, co-writing. Co-writing is something that a lot of singer-songwriters do at some point, just to broaden your horizon, just to broaden your perspective, just to open up your mind. And then last year, I met this songwriter called Jeff Cohen in Nashville. So I went over to Nashville, and this was my first attempt at co-writing with someone. So I knew it could go either way. It could be a complete disaster, or it could be a resounding success. And well, we wrote 10 songs, so I guess it was a good thing that we did. So this is how we would work. What I would do is I would take a basic melody, like a verse melody or a chorus melody, a few lines, and I would play that to Jeff, and then I would play it again. And Jeff he'd sit back and he'd look at me, he'll be like, so, what were you thinking when you wrote that? What were you feeling? Where's that song coming from? And he'd just keep, drilling me with these questions. He's like, why did you write that? Where's it coming from? And then what happened? Let's write that down. And then we would just take those thoughts, we would take all those feelings and those experiences and just put that down. And a song would come out of it. And we wrote, as I said, we wrote these 10 songs, and Jeff has been plugging them away into the film and the TV industry. So what we're looking at is maybe me, Nikhil D'Souza, possibly going over to America later this year and trying to make an impact among the American audiences. I would like to play you a song that Jeff and I wrote together. It's called Seasons of Your Mind. This song it's about how all of us really believe. We really believe that we deserve true love, and we will do anything to get it. But when it actually comes and it hits you in the face, most of us just hold back. We don't give ourselves over completely to it. And in the process, it fails. And then we pick ourselves up, and we do it again and again, and it fails again and again. But the song is really not about, it's not about despair. It's not about the fact that, we keep making mistakes and we keep failing. It's about the fact that no matter how many mistakes we make, that love still waits for us to find it. So I'm going to play that song. It's called Seasons of Your Mind.
Still